Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is dodging responsibility like crazy over a $1 billion fraud scandal that happened on his watch. It's even getting the attention of the New York Times. Some members of Minnesota's Somali community allegedly billed state agencies for millions in social services that were never delivered. The suspects targeted programs to fight homelessness and provide therapy for autistic children. Instead, spent the money on cars, houses, and overseas real estate projects. And now, hundreds of Minnesota state government workers are saying that Governor Tim Walz is, quote, 100% responsible for the massive fraud and turning a blind eye to the corruption. But all the failed Veep wants to do is deflect. Watch.
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail.
The only thing he said that was true, Greg, was that it attracts criminals.
I love how he's like, the only thing I'm going to take responsibility for is putting like 2 people in jail. After what, I don't know, is it like a decade, $1 billion, in which they ripped off the elderly, infants, the sick, the hungry. They should be executed, right? This guy shows up. This guy shows up with, hey, I arrested. No, you're like the guy who shows up and eats the free pizza, but you didn't help any of us move the furniture. Hey, guys, I'm here. I'm here. What you're seeing is the ultimate opportunity cost of electing a vacuous virtue signaler with no skills at all. While he was pushing tampons and trans in men's rooms, the Somalis were ripping off the state like it was a 24-hour mini-mart in Philadelphia. This is what happens when you elect a person who will say anything but is incapable of doing anything. This party, his party, they are the ultimate in self-serving, self-seeking selfishness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They realize that there is a reward in saying yes to everything without having any responsibility to say no. So, and again, it goes back to what I said in the A block. If you were to call out on this fraud, you go, oh, you hate Somalians. Why are they all Somalians? You hate us. You hate us. No, we hate the people who are doing this. You got to give credit to Walter Kern, who covered this in, County Highway, and Chris Rufo, this is back in 2023, who then really circulated it into the media, or else the New York Times never would have written about this. And it's, once again, if the Democrats reintroduce the concept of accountability to their actions, they might actually save their party. You need a wing, Jessica, in your party, the DWA party. Democrats with accountability, because there is none. It's almost like when the Democrats had the DLC, the Democrats
Leadership Council,
like cantaloupes.
Antelope.
I don't know.
That's what we called it.
So, Dana, similarly, yeah, to me, the real cause for concern here is not the identification of fraud, because people will always take advantage of programs and others, but it's the fact that it festered for years under a watch that the leader can see zero inkling that he's actually responsible for all of it. And the thing is that people who have no idea about other people's money is why he's cavalier about this. The taxpayers footed that $1 billion bill, and there is not a refund coming.
Well, remember that the Democrats only like whistleblowers when it's going against Republicans. The whistleblowers in Minnesota were ignored over and over again, and Walter Kern and Rufo talk about this, but the New York Times dug a little bit deeper. Guess who didn't dig deep at all? Kamala Harris. She thought he would be the best person. She thought he could be president of the United States if something happened to her. And nobody even thought about this. And when you said $1 billion, it reminded me of something. Where have we heard this story before? Right here in New York City. Do you remember when Bill de Blasio left office? When he first came into office in New York City as the mayor, he gave his wife $1 billion to help fix homelessness. At the end of the administration, after those 8 years, he says, sorry, guys, like, we don't know where any of that money went. And so it makes you wonder, okay, well then, do you worry about the people who need aid from the government, or do you worry about how you will rely on that fraud, waste, and abuse to curry political favors, because we know that a lot of people that got the contracts, at least on homelessness, like that, it was all funny business. It wasn't good. It was $1 billion of taxpayer money here in New York, in Minnesota. Like after a while, it adds up.
He was buying off his wife so he could bang that other girl.
Exactly. I think. I mean, I have no idea.
She just agreed.
Jesse, also, so 30 to 40% of household income in the Somali community there is tied to U.S. taxpayer-funded welfare programs.
Oh,
that
really?
never
Because that's
get it.
funny, because they never said that that happens. They always say they're very self-sufficient, but go ahead.
Right, that's the point. But he claims that his state, everything is well run, everyone is prosperous and happy and fulfilled. Either way, he's either totally letting down that community or totally letting down the communities that are being taken advantage of by the crooks of those 30 to 40%.
Right. So this is another crazy story. Somalia, terrible place, civil war. Clinton comes in, Black Hawk Down, feels guilty, says, the way we're going to do this, we'll just bring them all here, and just starts paroling tens of thousands of Somalians into Minnesota. Now, why Minnesota of all places? It's not warm. It's not like New York City. It's because the Latin American migrants hadn't gotten there yet. So the business community was like, let's send them to Minneapolis, because that'll keep profits up and keep the wages down. And then we could all pat ourselves on the back and say diversity is our strength, right? So everybody gets Social Security numbers and everybody gets welfare. And they form this huge voting block in the city. I think it's 80,000 Somalians are in the state of Minnesota, and they all vote Democrat. And so who figured this whole thing out? Wasn't just New York Times, wasn't just Chris Rufo. Doge. What did we hear in the beginning of the year? That criminals were ripping off nonprofits. They were just stealing money. Dana's right. They happened in New York. It happened in LA. Remember was it $24 billion for the homeless? You don't think this is happening in every city across the country? That's where the money's going. Democrats are always so worried about inflation and the social welfare net. It's because criminals are stealing it, and they won't do anything about it. And they didn't do anything about it because of racism. Whistleblowers, like Dana said, out the wazoo, but the Democrats didn't want to touch it because they were going to be called racist. So they let them steal $1 billion. And now they're all broke. And now they look stupid. And you know who looks really stupid? Dana's right. Again, Kamala. Not only did she miss this thievery, they missed him lying about going to war. They missed him honeymooning in Beijing, tampons in the men's room. This guy was the only VP worse than she, and she picked him.
And the DNC is also paying off her bill still, Jessica. What do you make of Jesse's point? And perhaps that's why I think the evidence is when you work with really local, hyper-local nonprofits, that's when you actually see meaningful difference. The second it gets slightly bigger, then they're plugged into the industrial complex of insert whatever need, homelessness, government welfare, et cetera, and then you see it all just goes to waste because it all is being lost to fraud.
I don't want to malign the reputation of large-scale not-for-profits, because they don't all do this. But this Feeding Our Future, which is the main not-for-profit involved in this, is obviously a tremendous problem. And they started being prosecuted by Merrick Garland. I mean, this goes back to the last administration. I really hate people and organizations that took advantage of COVID money. It was a desperate, heartbreaking time in this country where people were dying, losing their businesses. Their kids were not in school. They didn't know how to take care of them. You all remember what it was like. My dad had a small business during COVID. I'm watching him do the applications for, to get the COVID relief funds. It was a painstaking problem and process. And to see $1 billion just go. And I err towards the side of generosity. I understood that part of what Tim Walz was saying, that if an extra dollar goes to someone who didn't need that dollar, but you're talking about $1 billion. And I'm so sorry. Well, you guys think I sound like this all the time, but it is worse. In the Times piece, when they talk about the whistleblower retaliation, saying that the Walz administration was using monitoring and threats to make sure that they couldn't come forward, those are really serious allegations that he is going to have to deal with. And there are other state officials like Amy Klobuchar, I shouldn't say state officials, Senators Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith. I don't think they like this. I don't think that they would be interested in this. And it'll be fascinating to follow kind of the fallout from it because it's not going to stop, right? This is kind of like a snowball going down the hill super fast at this point. And they have a lot of documented evidence of what's going on, like emails from people associated with Feeding Our Future saying that if you don't approve new minority-owned businesses, that accusations of racism are going to fly all over the news. Like, it feels a little dead to rights at this point.
Could I add, you make, when you were talking about the damage during COVID, it is a lot like when people take advantage of like earthquakes, or hurricanes, and they loot.
Yeah.
It is the same thing in a way, because here you have this devastation, this COVID thing, and they're taking advantage of it. And when people loot during earthquakes, what do?
Shoot.
You shoot them.
Well, I'm glad
you brought that up, Jessica.
Saying.
Finally, we agree.
You said
Shoot 'em.
execute it and shoot them in one block.
I know.
That has nothing to do with killing.
I'm trying to push the
envelope. It's
yes,
been pushed and
yes.
it's Monday.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.